Hey, what is going on everybody, and welcome to Fantasia. For today, we're going to be jumping into another session of Epic 7. Now today, got some more Epic 7 World Championships quarterfinals for you guys. This time around, we are going to be looking at Marguerite on the left, represent the Japanese server, and Gwanggaeto on the right side, represent the European server. Let's go ahead and see what they're doing. They're starting off, oh my god, they're starting off hot here with a first pick ML Landy. I think this is the first match of the entire tournament where we're seeing an ML Landy not get banned out immediately. So yeah, she's going to be available for the rest of the fights until somebody decides to post-ban her. And if she doesn't get post-banned, I have a feeling that we're going to see her getting juggled around quite a bit, right? So Gwanggaeto on the right side with Landy, picking out the Yoha and the Ocean Breeze Luluka. Ocean Breeze Luluka is pretty good to the Sea Lilius on the left side, punishing the non-attack skills and getting some debuffs onto Marguerite's side. The Yoha is actually really strong into the Last Rider Crow. You essentially soak up all the damage from the S3 from the Crow, and then you get to revenge hit with the S3 and then nuke somebody into oblivion, preferably the Lionheart Sirmia right there. Yoha is also really good into Lionheart Sirmia. With her S3, it's likely not going to be killing Yoha, leaving her with very low health, and then you can go ahead and just nuke the Lionheart in return. Because Lionheart seems to be the only main threat on Marguerite's side right now. However, we do see a para coming out for Gwanggaeto. There is Solitaria potentially able to control Gwanggaeto's team, but with Landy not being able to get stunned or slept, it is going to be really hard for Solitaria to get mileage against her. And honestly, without any real sustain on the team, just with damage mitigation from the LRK, I don't really see how Marguerite's going to stand a chance against the Landy. With nothing like a Rowan or anything like that, it's going to be pretty difficult. Now, we see the Emerald Kawazu get picked out as well, and Kawazu is a really good answer into Landy, and honestly would have been a fantastic pick for Marguerite here, especially because he can proc off of Para's S2, proc off of Ocean Breeze Luca's extra attack skill, and it would have been great. However, now he's taken, and he's actually really good into Last Rider Crow and into Lionheart Sirmia. So we'll see how it plays out. Rylot getting picked up though as the last pick for Marguerite. Rylot's really strong into ML Landy. Well, hopefully we get to see him go through in this pick and ban phase here. If he's able to go through, I do hope that he's able to evade this Landy. He's pretty good into the Landy because he's dark, right? All dark units are actually pretty good into light units that have anti-crit. Ooh, and he gets banned out. That's very unfortunate. Para's gone too now. So we're just going to have to see how this goes. Now, the reason why dark units are good into light units like ML Landy is because when you attack, you gain 15% extra crit chance. So this crit chance actually overrides the anti-crit, the crit resistance that units like Landy have. So instead of a 70% chance of not critting, you only have a 55% chance of not critting, which heavily skews the odds back into a more favorable term for you. So it's pretty good. Let's see how this goes though. We see the Lilius going for the S3, Vigor buff on everyone on the left side. Ocean Breeze Luluka taking the turn right afterwards, going for her S3. Solitaria though, preventing that Luluka from getting focus, which is very important because no debuffs are going to be coming out from this Luluka here. Solitaria is now going for the S3. Gonna try to stun this Kawazu. I think Kawazu is the unit that has to be controlled here, but I don't know. Last Red Crow essentially has to hold on to his S3. If you S3 here, Kawazu's going to go and nuke that Lionheart Sirmia into oblivion. So yeah, that's exactly what happens. It feels bad to not use LRK's S3 whenever it's off cooldown, but it also potentially saves this Lionheart from getting nuked by the Yoha as well, right? Oh, but look at that. Sea Lilius going to be going. The dual attack's fine. The issue here is that Solitaria actually just barely laps this Kawazu, and now he is going to be able to get his Vigor buff up. And the problem is he cleanses after Solitaria's extra hit here, so it's not like Solitaria can come in and just strip and stun him afterwards. Right, so here we go. Benimaru's Tachi, he cleanses himself, gets that attack buff, Vigor buff. Is he able to kill? Most Kawazus are really tanky. Let's see here, and Oh, 10k damage, not able to kill the Lionheart Sirmia, but he is going to dual attack. Actually, that's going to be pretty good for the Lionheart. Unfortunately, though, I think this might be it for the Lionheart here, because if this Landy counters this LRK and salvos, I think it's over. Lionheart will also die to a Landy. Oh, actually, Landy didn't proc there at all. Landy, oh, no salvo! Wait a minute! Oh, okay. So the ML Landy coming to kind of bite Gwanggaeto in the butt here. Yeah, just, oh my god, Lionheart just absolutely demolishing the entire team. Yoha barely survives. Oh my god, this Lionheart, she is going to go for the Luluka. Can't finish her off. The counter comes in from the Landy. Lionheart is able to push herself up a little bit, but I think it is over because the Yoha is able to come in and seal the deal here, getting rid of that Lionheart Sirmia and healing up. Unfortunate, just that little bit of damage that could have gone into that Yoha, and it would have made a huge difference. Right, so now we're going to see Luluka go down here. Yep, there we go. I just don't see a world in which, yeah, I just don't see a world in which you can win now with this Landy having her S3. Now, Gwanggaeto might want to go for a Soulburn S1 to just salvo and heal up instead of going for an S3, because S3 doesn't heal, and Last Rider Crow, I believe, is going to be getting his S3 relatively soon, but not soon enough that you can't go for an AoE here. Alright, there we go. That's not a whole ton of damage, actually. Quite surprising. Yeah, usually by this point, with how much Landy has kind of ramped up her damage, she's hit at least 5 times, right? Last Rider Crowd going to be coming in, though, with the S3. So we'll see how much damage this does. Is it able to finish off the Landy? It is not. She's going to counter. Does she salvo? She does! Oh my god, look at that damage coming in. It's not enough to finish off the LRK, though. The Landy is actually not doing a whole ton. I have a feeling this Landy might be on a weird build. I know it's 0 speed, but 0 speed with this little damage I find a bit weird. It doesn't look like it's on a resist build, though, because it's getting debuffed by Solitaria. Although, to be fair, you're never really going to have enough resist to resist Solitarias, in most cases. You might have enough resistance to resist, like, a random DPS unit with no effectiveness. Oh, well, actually, hang on, that C. Lilius, it could be double 15%, but Landy definitely held on to that there. Okay, she's gonna S1. She's gonna salvo. Does she heal back enough health? She does. She doesn't die to the splash damage here. Takes out the Last Rider Crow with another salvo. Oh no. Marguerite. He was so close to winning that Lionheart Sirmia. But I don't think this is gonna work. Because look, this Landy is not going to go down that easily. I know that there's a Fairy Tale for a Nightmare on this C. Lilius, or sorry, on the Solitaria, so if C. Lilius dual attacks, then the Solitaria will get extra chip damage. But we're in Frenzy 4, and this Landy is starting to do massive amounts of damage here. Yeah, we're ramping up that damage, and even though it's not doing all that much, it's consistent enough, and the heals are enough, that I don't think Marguerite can do this. C. Lilius can be lapping, taking all these turns. Oh, I mean, Landy's not countering here, but how unlucky does Gwanggaeto have to be for C. Lilius to be able to solo this Landy here? Get that attack down on, that's actually pretty good. Get that vigor buff as well, and get a barrier. Trying to push back and provoke this Landy so she can S3, but no, it's too late. Landy's going to get that S3. She has attack down, but she gets an attack up from this S3 before she attacks. And there you go, that is going to be a stun on that C. Lilius. She is still going to be able to lap here, but I don't think it's going to be enough. I think if the C. Lilius was able to provoke the Landy, it might have worked. But this Landy, oh, there we go. Maybe it was just a 15% before. But I have a feeling this might be a bit of a resist on this Landy. There might be. It's just the frenzy changes, I think, kind of favoring effectiveness at this point, and she's able to more consistently land her debuffs. Oh, that counter, that might just seal the deal here. Yep, there you go, there's a salvo, and Landy gonna be taking that first W in this Epic 7 World Championship. First time seeing her here, because again, most players just ban her out, no one wants to fight against her. Okay. So looking here, a lot of the banned units are the same, actually. The pre-bans, originally I didn't talk about them, but Aola and Lua pretty standard stuff to see banned out. But with Para and Violet out of the picture now, Landy's a little bit safer. No Violet to contest her here. So Landy first pick is coming out, and then Gwanggaeto is immediately following up with C. Lilius and Lionheart. Very solid units into this Landy. We see an Arwal getting picked up too. She's a very strong unit to have with Landy, and honestly, there's no real way that you can take the Arwal from the opponent without giving them access to something like Lionheart or C. Lilius as well. So it's really tough. But Arwal with Landy is the best protection you can ever ask for, and it will definitely keep her alive. Elena's gonna get picked up on the left. It's a little strange to see. I mean, she could mitigate some of the damage from Lionheart Sermia's S3, heal up, and potentially put up an invincibility for the team, get that resist buff going as well. But normally she lacks consistency and sustain, so most Elena players would probably be running something like Celestine, so on her off turns, when she's not using her S3 or doesn't have an S2 available and the opponent doesn't AoE, she can at least heal with her S1. Alright, now Gwanggaeto's thinking really hard about what to go for. Kawazu is still a pretty decent option. Elena, if she uses her S3 to put up an invincibility, it is going to proc the Kawazu, who can just ignore resistance at that point with Vigor buff and Strip, right? He also doesn't really care because you have C. Lilius on that side. C. Lilius granted the Vigor buff to Kawazu anyway, and he'll be able to try to snipe down this Landy. And we see, at this point, though, the Aiden coming out should be... It should be okay. She does have evasion built in, and with the Vigor buff, she does get a bit of a defense boost and a damage boost. But it's going to be quite tough to cut through these defenses, especially if it's a low damage bruisery type of Aiden. We'll just have to wait and see, though. The one thing about the Kawazu on Gwanggaeto's side, though, we've seen his damage against Marguerite's Lionheart Sermia last time. 10k damage, that's with a Vigor buff and an attack buff. It was not a lot of damage. And with an Arwal on Marguerite's side, I don't really see this Kawazu really one-shotting her. But perhaps later on in the match, when she's lower on health, it could be viable. We'll see. Maybe if you can combo like a Lionheart Sermia and a Kawazu together, because you can kind of hold your S3. You have Vigor whenever you want, essentially with C. Lilius, so it's a possibility. Apoc, Ravi, and Karina getting picked up on Marguerite's side. Pretty decent picks, actually. Apoc, Ravi really strong to Lionheart, and Kawazu can't one-shot her. Karina's pretty good into this Aiden, and pretty good into the Lionheart Sermia as well. Last pick is going to be Sharoon. Let's see who gets banned out here. I would say the Lionheart should probably be banned out, but that's probably just me. I feel like the Lionheart has so much damage potential, but then that leaves your Elena kind of worthless, so we'll see. Aiden gets banned out here, and the Arwell, the damage mitigation getting banned. Okay, this is really just setting up for Lionheart and Kawazu to nuke down this Landy as soon as possible, and that is Gwanggaeto's plan here. So let's see what Marguerite can do, because he is currently down 1 point to Gwanggaeto's the best of 5 format. This is not match point, but the stakes are still pretty high. Winning a match here is pretty good momentum for, well, one, for winning, but two, also just mentally, it helps you stay in the zone, and doesn't feel like you're getting absolutely trashed on. Right, Provoke coming out onto the Apoc Ravi. Elena can just S1, and if she S1, she will cleanse, but again, this Kawazu has a Vigor buff, and it's not looking too great. Even if he puts up the invincibility, this Kawazu can definitely hurt quite a bit. Sharoon's going to be going, she's going to pop her S3, and this will, I mean, this will be okay. It's going to put some Venoms on everyone, but there's no real HP scaling unit on Marguerite's side here. Everyone's fine with scaling. I mean, well, a Ravi, right? A Ravi's HP scaling unit. But Elena usually has no problems cleansing things off of everyone. Right, here it comes, the attack buff, Vigor buff, Kawazu. How much damage will he do to the Landy? Oh, it's going to be enough! Wait a minute! That's absolutely insane! Almost 20k damage right there in that hit. Oh my god. And, oh, that's a really unfortunate counterattack by this Karina. Yeah, counter Karina not going to be great. So you see Lionheart saying, wait a minute, hang on a second, that's a counter Karina, please counter me. Yeah, fortunately it wasn't able to proc the Lionheart's passive with that first counter, because they countered on the S3, not on the S1, after Lionheart takes an extra turn. So we see the Karina coming in, no defense buff on her, but she's saying, hey, you know what? Let's do it. Defense scaler versus defense scaler. I'm going to defense break you and get some splash damage in there. APOC Ravi can definitely do quite a bit onto this Lionheart Surmia now. Oh, but no, not anymore. Smart play by hitting this Karina, trying to get her to counter, and she does. Lionheart Surmia able to cleanse that defense break. And this A Ravi getting 2 Venom stacks on her. This is going to hurt quite a bit coming in from this Lionheart Surmia. She might be able to finish off the Karina here. Yeah, and she does! Karina goes down! This APOC Ravi looking really, really low. I don't know if he should have hit that Elena there. Probably should have gone for a hit onto this APOC Ravi. Just because, to get that extra damage that you can squeeze out. Alright, but Elena is going to go ahead and put the invincibility on everybody. Ravi actually doesn't take any injury damage there because of the invincibility protecting him from the Venom damage. Now this Kawazu is super buff. Look at that. The attack buff, crit damage buff, barrier, vigor, everything was on him. He can't benefit from the crit damage buff though unless he gets a lucky crit. But the attack buff certainly does help, especially because burn damage scales with attack. Alright, we see some pretty good dual attacks coming in here. Bringing the Lionheart Surmia. It's going to heal her up a little bit and do a little bit of chip damage again to the A Ravi. A Ravi, though, not a huge fan of that. Slams her S3 into that Lionheart Surmia, and back comes the Karina. So Karina now has the chance to defense break this Kawazu, I think. I think it's a matter of, do you want to soul burn here? Yep, there we go. So get that soul burn, 2-turn defense break, a little bit of splash damage onto that Kawazu from the Rocket Punch Gauntlet, and A Ravi should have a pretty good opportunity to hit this Kawazu here. Now, he does have his passive up, but there's no real AoE on the side of Marguerite right now, so Kawazu is pretty much dead in terms of having his Vigor buff reapplied by himself. Now, C. Lilius can still use her S3 and provide the Vigor buff for the team. We'll see how it goes. She provokes the Ravi. That's actually really good timing. Protects this Kawazu from getting taken out. He's still defense broken, so still very vulnerable. Although Karina on her next hit should not be able to take him out just yet. We'll see what happens though. He is going to try to put the Venom buff onto this Karina. And another crit damage buff for this Kawazu. Oh, sorry, the attack buff actually. He already had the crit damage buff. So this defense break actually mattering quite a bit. He's taken below half of his health here, although I think it's a little late. Karina is going to be taken out here, I believe, and it's not going to be looking too good. This Ravi is really low on health, but I think Gwanggaeto's a little bit hesitant to attack her, especially because she can potentially heal up and push herself up in turn cycle. So here it comes. Kawazu gonna soul burn the S1 here. Oh, he has his S3. Is he gonna be able to kill the Ravi here? Let's see what he's able to do. It should be able to. There's no damage mitigation. Oh, 25k damage. The ML Kawazu absolutely demolishing Marguerite's team. That is unfortunate. Alright, well, let's go ahead and jump into the next match over here. Got first picks coming in pretty quick. Marguerite picking up that ML Landy. Gwanggaeto going for the Lionheart Surmia and the C. Lilius. Again, so kind of a repeat of what we just saw. Except this time around, Aiden's not available and Arwell's not available. Marguerite's hovering over that Dark Corvus, but he is definitely not the pick here. So let's see what these follow-ups are. Crimson Armin could potentially be okay with ML Landy, but the thing about Crimson Armin is she lacks tempo. C. Lilius, providing that dual attack with the teammates provides a lot of utility for the team, and the Lionheart Surmia provides her own tempo with her combat readiness push after her recent buff. So her S2 is very valuable now for allowing her to cut and essentially just overtake some opponents, right, before she can get finished off, and you can potentially clutch things out by getting some lifesteal heals when you rip an S3. But we do see Crimson Armin Maid Chloe coming out on Marguerite's side. This is interesting. I mean, Maid Chloe is a pretty good unit in standard v standard matchups. Crimson Armin's very popular with her as well. You basically just buff stack and you get pretty good protection for your team. Maid Chloe give you a little bit of heals, got the revive buff, the attack buff. Crimson Armin, usually on protection set, giving you a little bit of barrier at the start of the match, kind of like what Arwell does, but you also give everyone immunity, which is very valuable for the long term. Maid Chloe also giving people a bit of resistance. Most maids are on Shimadra's staff, which also provides a Team War resist. But Marguerite now, this is match point. In order for Marguerite to come back, he needs to win 3 matches in a row. Meanwhile, Gwanggaeto here, sitting very comfortably, just needing one more to take the win and move on to the semi-finals. Lethe getting picked out, Kawazu as well. So 3 units on Gwanggaeto's side to deal with that single ML Landy. And I mean, last time, Marguerite, he just absolutely imploded to that Kawazu pick on Gwanggaeto's side, packing such a large amount of damage that he could even nuke the A Ravi. Speaking of A Ravi, Marguerite is going for the A Ravi here yet again, picking her up here as a unit. It's not bad into Lionheart, Sirmia, and Lethe. As I mentioned before, A Ravi is pretty good into Lionheart because you can out damage Lionheart in most cases, as long as you don't get random 3% and dual attack every turn, in which case then I guess you die. But APOC Ravi into Lethe, providing that injury damage, which helps quite a bit because Lethe's extra attack skill scales damage based on her max health. Alright, speaking of max health though, we got injury as well on Gwanggaeto's side. Shirun coming out yet again as a support unit. Able to apply Venom to the team and, you know, honestly, being able to strip a lot of units and their buffs, right, is going to be very valuable. Maid Chloe going to get banned out here. See, Lilia's taken out too, so Zio is left intact. Zio is going to be very interesting because now he's going to be able to take the first turn. He banned the C. Lilius, right? Marguerite banned the C. Lilius, so he guarantees him the first turn. Alright. And now we see this Zio. I mean, he could try to take out the Lethe or this Kawazu early. You could try to push him back a little bit. So he's going to go for the Lethe, going to go ahead and silence her, which doesn't matter all too much, but the damage is really hefty. You get the most value in terms of your damage by hitting a very bulky unit. So this Lethe getting most of her HP taken out here, because that's what Zio does. He does damage proportional to their max health. Kawazu going to go in with the S3. He does land 2 burns even without a Vigor buff, and Landy's going to salvo. This is actually going to give him the Vigor here. And so let's see how much the detonation is. Not enough. Crimson Armin helping mitigate a lot of that damage right there. But now Lionheart Sirmia coming in. Will she crit the Landy? She does crit the Landy. Can she salvo here? No salvo. Marguerite losing this Landy. Never mind. Never mind. This Landy is going to live. This Crimson Armin helping with some of that shared damage here. Wow, okay, living with 1,000 health, going for the salvo, trying to heal up and just salvage the game. Lionheart Sirmia, though, going to benefit from that salvo there. And APOC Ravi gets to go. Lethe might actually just go down without having done a single thing. Zio did a really good job at controlling her, pushing her back, allowing the rest of his team to just zero in on her and finish the job. Now Shirun gets to go. There's not really many buffs on the left side. Could go for an S3 to try to get rid of the anti-crit buff, but it's a little risky because you do risk this Landy countering, right? Especially with Elbrus. This Lionheart Sirmia, though, not looking too good right here in terms of health. Zio's not doing that much damage. Proof of Valor on this Lionheart Sirmia, helping her out quite a bit. She can now rip an S3, and hopefully she's going to be healing quite a bit as well. This is a really squishy Lionheart Sirmia, only 13k health here. Ooh, Landy goes down! That's huge! Now this Lionheart Sirmia going to focus that Zio, and there you go. The Crimson Armin, because the shared damage goes down. Zio goes down. It looks like this might be the end for Marguerite. Is this going to be the first 3-0 of the tournament here? We see the A Ravi ripping that S3 into the Lionheart Sirmia, unfortunately bringing back a Crimson Armin. Probably not what you want to see. Landy is probably more preferable here. But yeah, Crimson Armin could actually help a little bit. That damage mitigation can come in handy. She hasn't popped her S3 though, so here comes the immunity buff. No burns coming in onto this this A Ravi. And Crimson Armin, though, the protection's going to be pretty decent, helps mitigate quite a bit of damage. But here we go, Sharoon had held onto her S3, can go ahead and strip everything off of this A Ravi. Armin's going to be perfectly fine. And now look at the Venoms coming in too. Attack buff up on the Kawazu, and he's going to land 2 burns. That's going to be quite a bit of damage here. Although there's a soul burn on A Ravi's side. There we go. Marguerite is going to pop it, try and deal as much damage as he can to Kawazu. He's getting really, really low. Is this Kawazu going to be able to do it? I don't think so. I really don't think so. This might be Marguerite's match, because unless the Sharoon can somehow absolutely demolish this A Ravi, I don't see how it's gonna work. So Kawazu's gonna S3 into the A Ravi. There we go. Got a lot of burns. Detonate it. Oh, look at that Crimson Armin, super low now. And I think that Crimson Armin might have saved this A Ravi, I'll be very honest. Mitigating that damage, reducing the damage that's taken, helped out quite a bit. If Crimson Armin wasn't here, I think this probably could have been Gwanggaeto's match. So hey, that's pretty good for Marguerite. He's holding on. Now, can Sharoon actually do this? A Ravi needs a couple more turns to be able to take out this Sharoon. She is going to soul burn and go for the Ravi. Oh, Venom kills off the Crimson Armin. Can Venom kill off the APOC Ravi? There's a lot of injury on her, and that's the issue, because Venom scales off of the max health as 10% of the opponent's max health as damage, right? So A Ravi's just healing up way too much. Sharoon may be able to lap here, going for the S3. Is she going to be able to lap and do another S1? Stack some more Venoms here. Speed down, helping out with the lapping. Come on now. Celestine healing up the Sharoon. I don't know if it's enough. Sharoon, she's going to counter. Nice little Celestine getting that Venom stack right there. Is it going to work? Stage 5? Okay, 3 Venoms. Not enough. This injury is just hurting the Sharoon's damage output. And there you go, A Ravi finally able to finish her off. Very nicely played by Marguerite there, right? So he won that match, the first round that he's able to take. Gwanggaeto picking up the ML Landy, all right? And let's see what the next pick is going to be on Marguerite's side. We're just going to see the same units getting swapped back and forth. Nope, we're going to see a new unit here. LR Crown coming out instead of C. Lilius. Oh, I mean, because C. Lilius is banned, so Marguerite has to adapt a little bit. Lionheart Surmia still a solid pick, getting picked up here. Taken to face off against Gwanggaeto's team. Sharoon, I mean, I guess Gwanggaeto really likes that Sharoon right there. She's been putting in some work in the past couple of matches, so he's sticking with her. And she can actually get rid of the immunity buffs from this LRK as well. Yolha is going to be picked up as well. Pretty good into LRK and Lionheart together, because their burst damage is going to make Yolha a very threatening unit. A Tywin going to get picked up. A Tywin going to get picked up. Hang on, that's pretty strange. Normally, don't expect to say Tywin here because Landy can't get stunned. Sharoons typically have lower resist than most of the Soul Weavers, but A Tywin would most likely be ignoring the resist anyway once he gets his rage buff. And Solitary getting picked up, pretty decent to control the Sharoon and the Yolha. Can't control the ML Landy, but that doesn't mean that you can you can't just ban the Landy and fight the other units, because you're gonna see everything that Gwanggaeto has here. So ML Laika getting picked out. She is very offensive, and she'll probably just one-shot one of the units on Marguerite's side if left unattended. There's no real unit that can contest this the speed unit here on Gwanggaeto's team, unless a Solitary is super fast, but you know, Laika could always be faster, and I don't think that's a gamble you're really willing to take, especially when this is match point for Gwanggaeto, right? Marguerite needs to win this and another match in order to stay in this tournament here, in the winner's bracket at least. So let's see what this last crucial pick is for Gwanggaeto. He needs to have another DPS unit. There we go. So Ed getting picked up here. Decent utility against the Solitary, although not really good into the A Tywin. DDR, love to see it. So DDR getting picked out. Combos really well with Solitaria, and with A Tywin on the team, it basically makes Ed practically useless, and DDR with Solitaria can actually overload Ed with debuffs, which is really useful to control his equivalent exchanges and his damage, right? You can actually manage to control him if you overwhelm him with debuffs. Alright, so moving on here into the actual fight. Solitaria is going to be going first. And who's he going to control? Possibly hitting the Shirun or the Yoha here. Alright, Solitaria is going to go for the S3. Going to go into the Shirun. No. Yeah, going to the Shirun. There we go. Both units were green, so it's hard to tell there. We do see Lionheart Surmia though, proccing off of that counter from the Landy. She did salvo, but look at that crit damage buff from the Shirun. That's not going to be good for Marguerite if this Landy manages to counter immunity up on Marguerite's side. Got a nice little barrier from the previous salvo. Let's see how much damage this Lionheart is able to do. Is he able to crit this Landy? Because that's all it really comes down to is RNG. Right? When MO Landy's on the field, it's RNG for both the player that uses her and the opponent that's facing her. But nope, decides to go for an S1. I can kind of respect it because look at Yoha's health. You don't want Yoha to just be able to nuke you right out the gate. So Landy was able to counter. Gonna go for the Lionheart here. Gets another salvo. Very unfortunate. But the barrier here is going to make up for a little bit of it. A Tywin, though, gets to take the turn. He is just going to rip the S3. He wants this Ed to counter. Alright, let's see what happens. Landy's gonna counter first, then salvo. Oh my god, getting all those heals. Ed is gonna be coming in here. He has a defense break on him, actually. So does the Yoha and the Shirun. That's pretty good. This is without A Tywin even having a rage buff, so he might actually be built with some effectiveness here. Ed's gonna try to hit this A Tywin down, trying to chip him away, and he does lap, but does he kill? Because there's an Aureus on the last right of crowd, is not able to kill here. Solitaria gets to take the turn. Defense break on this Landy. This extra hit, though, is going to proc Ed's equivalent exchange yet again. So it's going to be a lot of damage coming in. This A Tywin might not actually live to see another turn. Let's see what happens, though. Defense break on the Yoha, on that Lionheart, and on that ML Landy. Lionheart Surmia coming in with that S3. No crit on the Yoha or the Landy, but hey, look at this Lionheart go! Can go for a soul burn here. No crit on the Landy once more. So unlucky. But at least the Lionheart Surmia gets another proc here. Landy doesn't get to salvo there, and Gwanggaeto does not really have the souls, but he is going to pop Landy's S3, try to get as much damage as he can out of her. I've been noticing that Gwanggaeto's Landy is just a little weaker than most other Landys here. See, the damage output was not as high as you'd expect. So LRK gets to live, and now he gets to rip an S3. This LRK is going to finish off the Ed, and actually just finish off both units. Marguerite! There you go. Still in it. So now we're tied at 2-2. And we will see what this is. Match point for both players. Can go either way. Gwanggaeto looking a little shocked here. Picking up the ML Landy as the first pick. Marguerite's a bit more confident this time around with so many units pre-banned. LRK and Lionheart Surmia is really good value. You don't have to worry about Leica anymore. Gwanggaeto pulled that out a previous round. And so with that banned, you can actually opt to play a little slower because you can't really get trapped by the Straze Leica drafts anymore. Yoha's going to get picked up by Gwanggaeto on the right. Again, pretty good stuff. Just have that revenge damage S3 button that you can press once the LRK and the Lionheart Surmia go for their S3s. In the previous match, though, it was really smart for Marguerite to hold on to his Lionheart Surmia's S3 and just not provide that Yoha that free damage. That was really, really good thinking. And saving that for the subsequent turn, in which she essentially just nuked everything out of existence. Briarwitch Assyria is not bad into Gwanggaeto's team because you can block the Destina from reviving. You also get defense breaks and unbuffables, so you can strip the anti-crits off of everybody and make this Landy way, way more vulnerable to deal with. So I like it. Right, Shirun might be up for consideration here. She would be buffing the Briarwitch Assyria with attack buffs and crit damage buffs, potentially. We'll see how it plays out. Kawazu's going to get picked up by Gwanggaeto on the right. He's going to be pretty decent into something like Lionheart Surmia. We've seen this before, right? But I think Lionheart Surmia has quite a bit of defense, so that's why the burn damage onto Lionheart was not as big as it was on the Landy in the previous matches, right? In the previous rounds. So, yeah, we're going to see this last pick coming in. It's going to be a pretty crucial pick because you have to be able to counter... Oh, excuse me. You have to be able to counter all of the units on Marguerite's side. So, come on, Gwanggaeto. Let's see what he can do. it's really tricky because this Briarwitch Assyria is providing a lot of pressure for Gwanggaeto's team. Destina is a reviver, she can cleanse, but this Briarwitch is going to be hovering around, possibly on Guiding Light, and Landy is the only unit that has an AoE with her salvo. He's going to end up, I don't know if that's a panic pick or not there. Dilibet is not the greatest source of damage into Marguerite's side. Ooh, that little hesitant pick there might cost Gwanggaeto the match. I don't know. Dilibet into Briarwitch is pretty decent, but into Last Rider Crow, into Lionheart Sirmia, it seems like kind of a death sentence. Again, could be good into the Sharoon, but it's a little iffy. Rowana getting picked out at the end by Marguerite. He's pretty confident in his Last Rider Crow and Lionheart Sirmia Briarwitch as his primary sources of damage. So pick up another support there. I think if Lionheart was banned, Marguerite might have struggled a little bit more. But let's take a look. Yeah, I think if Rowana wasn't banned, Gwanggaeto still could have been okay. If it was a solo DPS Briarwitch, right? Could still have been okay. Let's see what happens here though. There's no souls to soul burn. He's just gonna rip the Briarwitch S3 right off the bat. So this is gonna put a unbuffable and defense break on the units that they're able to. So there you go, Dilibet and this Yolha. It's not gonna matter all too much though, because Last Rider Crow is gonna S3, and with that S3, he's gonna take the turn. Dilibet's gonna go right after her because she cleanses from the Fighting Spirit. And she'll be able to cleanse off all of these debuffs. A lot of damage coming in though. Last Rider Crow is pretty decent to ML Landy. So Lionheart Sirmia pushes herself up. She has immunity from this Last Rider Crow. No one can get reset by this Dilibet here. So here she goes with that S3, and man, there's no I don't know, there's not really any damage except onto the Briarwitch Assyria. Destina's actually just gonna pop her S3 and heal up right away. Alright, I mean, that was a lot of damage from the LRK, and there's no reason to hold on to Destina's S3. Briarwitch is on the other side. She doesn't stealth, though, so Gwanggaeto could try to chip away at her. Lionheart Sirmia ripping her S3. Let's see what she's able to do. Alright, no crit onto the Landy. This Yolha's looking really low now. I don't know about this. It looks really dangerous. He's gonna go for the Dilibet. Probably what I would have done too. You don't want to hit the Yolha and give her extra damage. And don't want to hit Landy because she can counter. But here it comes. Speaking of which, he's going to do it anyway. Sharoon's just going to come in hot with an S3. AoE hit onto everybody. Dilibet is able to cleanse, gets a defense buff there, which helps with damage output because she is defense scaling. But you're going to see, oh, that dual attack was nasty in more ways than one. First of all, that actually procced Briarwitch's immortality. But Dilibet probably could have done that anyway. Just gonna get free damage onto this this Sharoon, who does counter. But on the other hand, Lionheart Sirmia now has another proc, and we'll see if it works. Sharoon not able to control this Yolha, unfortunately, but I think this might be able to. If this kills this Yolha, it might actually be over, because without Yolha nuking this Lionheart Sirmia, I just don't see how Gwanggaeto is able to do this unless his Elvis Ritual Swords just pop up like crazy, right? So there he goes. Yolha is down. He can actually just finish off the Dilibet here. Take another unit off of the table. Right, no shenanigans. Oh, no, opts to go for the Landy instead, hoping for that lucky crit. So actually, that's not too bad. That's it's not too bad. Briarwitch was coming up afterwards. Could probably finish off the Dilibet here. Nothing to worry about, right? So yeah, going for the Dilibet there. I think I probably... no, it wouldn't have mattered. I probably would have used Lionheart to attack the Dilibet and then try to defense break the Landy. But Destina already has an S2 anyway, so she's going to be using it to push up the Landy here. Heal her up. Have her take the turn. And she is going to go for an S1. Does she salvo? No salvo, but she has her S3 up now. Briarwitch can try to go for a defense break onto this Landy. Oh, but she 15%s it. Very unfortunate. Otherwise, this Lionheart Sirmia could have gotten some pretty good damage into her. And Last Rider Crow's S3 is not off cooldown yet. He is going to soul burn regardless. And Guardian Ice Crystals actually heals up more than the damage that Lionheart did. Salvo going to be coming in as well, going to be healing up, and Oh man, Briarwish knocked out a stealth yet again. That barrier just barely keeping her alive. Okay, oh, this Sharoon actually able to debuff this Destina, which is not a good sign. We see Last Rider Crowd coming in with that S3. This might be able to kill. Oh no, wait, yes! Yes, the Venom from Sharoon, able to finish off the Destina. I thought Destina was going to go down too. Oh, wait. What happened? Alright, okay, I think the streamer... Oh, wait, no, don't pause. Wow, Landy just ripped everybody apart. Lionheart Sermia coming in with the S3, don't you dare, Paul. What are you doing? No, wait, we need to see. Landy just countered. Oh my god, even the other casters here, they and the host, they have no idea what just went on. Who won? If Landy countered, if she salvoed, it could make a big difference, right? If Lionheart doesn't crit, Lionheart does take another turn. If she goes for an S1, she could potentially kill the Landy. This was so close, it's 2-2. Is this a paid actor match? Is this what it is? Oh, we're coming back here, and Marguerite is the winner! So, best thing I could do is assume that the Lionheart Sermia was able to crit the Landy. Landy was not able to finish her off on that counter attack there. So, there you have it, guys. That is going to be it for this match. Quite a long one, but hey, best of fives, that's what happens. If you guys enjoyed what you just saw, please leave a like and subscribe for more Epic 7 content. And until next time, take care.